Trafficking in persons is a hideous crime affecting people in almost every country in the world. Over the last 2 decades, the international community has benefited from an improved understanding of and response to human trafficking. Working together, governments, NGOs, international organizations, academics, communities, and survivors of human trafficking have helped in developing a better understanding and strategizing countermeasures to combat trafficking in persons. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes Global Report on Trafficking in Person 2018, there has been an upward trend in the last decade in the number of victims identified and traffickers convicted globally.
27 million adults and 13 million children are victims of human trafficking. और इसमें जो 80% victims हैं, they are female, they are women. 3 lakh children below the age of 18 years, they are being used in the conflict areas for war purposes. और उनमें से 80 to 90% जो हैं, they are being abused. They are the victim of force and sexual exploitation and such biggest crimes.
The report suggests an overall positive correlation between the implementation of anti-trafficking strategies and increased identification of victims and conviction of traffickers. According to the US Department of State's Trafficking in Persons report, June 2019, Pakistan is placed amongst Tier 2 countries, as mandated by the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 as amended, a law passed by the US Congress that provides the tools to combat trafficking in persons both worldwide and domestically. Tier 2 represents countries whose governments do not fully meet the Trafficking Victims Protection Act's minimum standards, but are making significant efforts to bring themselves into compliance with those standards. The Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 as amended defines severe forms of trafficking in persons as sex trafficking, in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such an act has not attained 18 years of age, or the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, death bondage, or slavery. A victim need not be physically transported from one location to another for the crime to fall within this definition. The Department of State's Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons, JTIP, in partnership with UNODC Pakistan, aims at strengthening the capacity of law enforcement and criminal justice agencies to effectively overcome the challenges related to trafficking in persons in Pakistan. The project encompasses the development of research reports on the emerging trends and patterns, the provision of legislative assistance, in addition to delivering specialized training and raising the awareness level to enable capacity building for the government ministries and departments, law enforcement and criminal justice agencies, social services, and civil society organizations. Unfortunately, Pakistan is a source, transit, and destination country when we talk about trafficking in persons. Despite a considerable progress made by the government of Pakistan and by non-government actors to combat trafficking in persons, a joint study undertaken in the framework of UNODC Pakistan JTIP project revealed lack of basic understanding about this serious crime. Later, a regional conference on human trafficking held in Islamabad in October 2017 further reiterated the dire need to launch nationwide awareness campaigns to create widespread awareness about human trafficking amongst a broad section of society.
UNODC का मैं मशकूर हूँ जिन्होंने आज ये एक प्रोग्राम किया है जिससे हमें काफ़ी अवेयरनेस हुई है.
The pre-campaign study helped in establishing a baseline and gauged the current knowledge and understanding about trafficking in persons across Pakistan. Some of the critical challenges that were identified in the study included low level of understanding about the subject and its legal implications, lower socio-economic opportunity and literacy rate, prevalence of lower level of gender sensitivity, involvement of organized criminal groups in incidents of trafficking in persons, lack of protection and assistance for the victims of human trafficking, Pakistan's porous borders with Afghanistan and Iran, lack of resources with relevant government departments and agencies, trust deficiency between the citizens and the governments, lack of coordination between relevant stakeholders at both federal and provincial level. In absence of FIA's outreach in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir area, lack of legal powers with AGK police to handle human trafficking. Since the study and the conference, a new law, the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act 2018, was also enacted in Pakistan.
ट्रैफिकिंग इन पर्सन जो है वो एक क्राइम है एंड हाउ टू कंट्रोल इट, और जो एक न्यू लॉ जो है जून में पास हुआ है उससे भी अवेयर किया गया है, ब्रोशर्स जो हैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किए गए हैं और इससे जो है पैसेंजर्स में एक अवेयरनेस आई है बिकॉज सम टाइम पुलिस इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज अवेलेबल.
That criminalizes all forms of sex trafficking and labor trafficking. Not only this law is instrumental in safeguarding the rights of victims of human trafficking, but it also empowers the law enforcement agencies of Pakistan to effectively prosecute the organized gangs perpetuating and benefiting from this crime. Under the framework of UNODC Pakistan JTIP project, a national awareness raising campaign against trafficking in persons was executed in 2018 and 19. Effective support from local partners was the key behind the successful implementation of this campaign. Our partners included concerned law enforcement agencies such as FIA, police, railways police, Air Force Security Force, etc. Reputed international and national non-government organizations. Notables from all segments of civil society, teachers, religious leaders, lawmakers, etc. Media and opinion makers, general public, youth, men, women and children.
I'm grateful that the people from different departments are here. We could have this interaction with the students, and we have discussed the resource sponsor have discussed the different forms of the human trafficking and the punishments proposed by the government of Pakistan and the legislature of Pakistan.
The campaign was successfully rolled out in 33 high-risk cities identified across 4 provinces of Pakistan as well as Gilgit, Baltistan and Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. The awareness-raising campaign was executed using integrated marketing communication tools with messages in national and local languages aimed at reaching a broad cross-section of society. Major campaign highlights are as follows. Placement of 1,240 streamers with key messages on human trafficking at all high-risk areas identified across the country. Major entry and exit points between the provinces and at the border checkposts or embarkation points. 531,000 brochures in English and Urdu languages were distributed in 33 high-risk cities of Pakistan during the months of September 2018 to February 2019. 500,000 location-based SMS campaign was launched during the months of October 2018 and February 2019 at 33 targeted cities using possible socio-economic classification filters having relevance to respective target audience. Exclusive social media pages on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter were developed to raise voice against trafficking in persons. The social media campaign achieved around 1.6 million impressions and reach respectively. 4,790 short and precise public service messages were broadcasted on popular local and terrestrial radio channels in all targeted cities using local languages that is Urdu, Punjabi, Pashto, Sindhi, Kashmiri and Boroshki. 6 awareness sessions for police and 6 for community were organized at all the provinces throughout the country. Shazad Roy, a recipient of Sitara-e-Imtiaz, was appointed by UNODC as its National Goodwill Ambassador. The appointment of Mr. Roy helped in increasing visibility and assisting in mobilizing support in relation to all projects of UNODC. Public-Private Partnership Conference to Combat Human Trafficking was organized in collaboration with Federal Investigation Agency in Islamabad on 17 April 2019. The purpose of the conference was to increase awareness on the importance of partnership and establish networks and communities of practice in the sector comprised of government experts, private sector representatives, and other relevant stakeholders. Lastly, this documentary is also a part of our campaign against trafficking in persons. At the end of the campaign, a post-campaign study was conducted on the similar lines of pre-campaign study for impact evaluation. The result of the post-campaign study was quite encouraging, with overall 49% campaign reach. The 2018-19 nationwide awareness campaign against trafficking in persons could be deemed as successful, but this is just a small step towards much greater challenges. A long-term, multi-pronged and collaborative approach is the way forward to curb this menace completely from Pakistan. Let's together raise the voice, be the shield, save victims of human trafficking.